Correspondent Vincent McAviney has been travelling with the British Prime Minister to Buenos Aires. Good morning, Vinny. So you were speaking to the Prime Minister on that flight. Now she is going to be meeting with the Saudi Crown Prince. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Well, buenos dias from Buenos Aires, Isabel. That's right, I was just flying overnight with the Prime Minister, Theresa May, on her RAF Voyager plane. And at one point in the flight, she gave us a press conference in the cabin. And I asked her about meeting with the Saudi Crown Prince. Now, we knew that Theresa May was having a one-on-one meeting with the Argentinian president today, but we didn't know what other meetings she got. We think she's got about 5 of them. But she confirmed to me on that flight that she would be meeting one-on-one with the Saudi Crown Prince. And she said she wasn't going to shy away from the issue. She told me that in relation to Khashoggi, she wants to see a full and transparent investigation in relation to what happened, and obviously those responsible being held to account. She also opened it up to Yemen, saying on the issue of Yemen, we continue to be deeply concerned about the humanitarian situation. We want a long-term solution to the Yemen. It is a political situation, and we'll be encouraging all parties to work together for a political situation. So some quite strong language from Prime Minister Theresa May on dealing with the Khashoggi issue directly with the Crown Prince, when you bear in mind that the UK has a very close relationship with Saudi Arabia, both in terms of trade. It's one of the UK's biggest partners and something they want to build on post-Brexit, and with security and intelligence as well.
Well, high tension on trade, as you're mentioning, not least because the President Donald Trump and the President of China, Xi Jinping, are going to meet. What's on the cards there, Vinny?
Well, trade, tax reform and climate change are the big issues being discussed at this G20 meeting. And of course, everyone will be watching those bilaterals between President Trump, who has tried to rewrite the rules of world trade. So in that meeting with Xi Jinping, both leaders have been ratcheting up tariffs against the other's products. That has, we heard in that clip from Donald Trump a moment ago, that he's pretty happy with the current situation, but he might be willing to do a deal. He is the self-described king of deal making, so that will definitely be one to watch. In their meetings previously one-on-one, they've always seemed to get on quite well. Donald Trump has spoke fondly of Xi Jinping, but then on Twitter and then with his actions in these tariffs, he then seems to like to strike out at him. So it'll definitely be interesting, as always, to watch President Trump. We know he's not having that bilateral now with President Vladimir Putin. And I think Theresa May as well, on the topic of trade, she will be urging for reforms of the WTO, and she's going to try possibly to use that window without Angela Merkel to build some support for her Brexit deal. She'll really need that to try to get MPs behind her on it.
And changing tack slightly, Vinny, G20 summits are often the focus of violent protests. What's the sense there? How tight is security?
Well, that's right. We're expecting a protest later on here today in Buenos Aires. But on the drive from the airport, I've got to say there was intense security. There were roadblocks. We were in a motorcade surrounded by protection. All of the exits on the motorway were blocked off. And just walking through the city since I've arrived here, there is a heavy police presence. They seem to be on every corner. Lots of police vehicles doing patrols as well. So I think they're very much prepared for any violent demonstrations that could take place. But the leaders themselves, they are well out of the city. They're about 45 minutes away from where I'm standing now, through a series of roadblocks and perimeter fences. So they will be very unlikely to see any of it, apart from on their TVs, of course.